It is here, it is here. Marvel vs. DC 2025 has finally kicked off, and not only has it kicked off, but it has started with what I think might, maybe possibly be a bang. It looks great. It looked, well, some of it. Not all of it. Whew! Let's talk about it.
You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie, and make it look easy.
Alright, so as you probably saw already, yes, Marvel vs. DC is back with the first of 2 installments, with Deadpool vs. Batman being the Marvel vs. DC entry, and then next month or I believe the month after, I forget exactly, we're going to be getting Batman vs. Deadpool, which will be the DC Comics side of things. And once again, this came out while I was away. I was on a cruise for about a week and some change, and so I missed all of this. I only just recently come back. That's why I'm talking about it probably a little later than some of you will probably expect, but trust me, I have a lot to say about it. We're gonna dig into it. But before we actually do, there's a new feature on YouTube that I believe most, if not all of you, already have access to, and I would really appreciate it if you use it. Now, yes, you guys know the drill by now. Hit like on the video, because once again, it helps me find more viewers like yourself, but also hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, so that way you don't miss out on videos. But once again, there's a new feature called Hype, and if you use your hype to hype this video, it's gonna help push this video in front of even more people. So, don't just hit the like button, don't just subscribe and hit that notification bell. Hit that hype button too. Now, I don't know if hype is available on desktop, like if you're watching this from like your computer, desktop or whatever. I don't know if it's available there yet, but I know if you're watching this on your phone, it is available to, I think, everyone. But yeah, help a brother out, and let's hype this video up. Anyway, let's talk about Marvel vs. DC 2025, and more specifically, Deadpool versus Batman. Let's go ahead and get the Deadpool and Batman side of it out of the way, because that is the biggest story. For those who are not familiar, the way they did this is that there is a core story, and then there are little side stories in the back. So the Deadpool versus Batman is about roughly the size of a normal issue of a comic, maybe a little bit longer. And then there's like, some backup stories, usually anywhere between 3, maybe 4 pages, give or take, that focus on other characters from Marvel and DC interacting with each other. Those stories being Captain America and Wonder Woman, Jeff and Crypto, Daredevil and Green Arrow, Rocket Raccoon and Green Lantern, Old Man Logan and Batman from The Dark Knight Returns, and last but most certainly, maybe least, depending on how you feel about this sort of thing, there is Logo. I'm sure you all can figure out what that is. Let's go ahead and get into the main thing of it. So, the whole thing kicks off with Batman doing his broody thing while he's sitting in Wayne Manor trying to figure out what the Joker's next scheme is, when suddenly, out of nowhere, Deadpool shows up. Deadpool's looking for Batman, but doesn't find him. He finds Bruce Wayne, and because Deadpool is not the sharpest knife in the drawer, he doesn't really deduce at any point that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person. As a matter of fact, when he meets Bruce Wayne, he talks incredibly spicy to Bruce Wayne about his whole shtick, and Batman's as well, saying that, dressing up like a bat, who could take that guy seriously? Bats aren't scary, until Deadpool actually meets Batman face to face. They fight, and it goes down about the way you'd probably expect. It goes down in the annals of world's most one-sided ass-kickings, because regardless of the fact that Deadpool has a healing factor, Batman is Batman, and Batman beats the brakes off of Deadpool. But that's not really the whole, I guess, hook for the book, is that Deadpool, because he is a mercurial character, and to the surprise of no one, who hired him to kill Batman? I'll give you 5 seconds. You can figure it out.
A few moments later.
If you said the Joker, you win my undying something. So yeah, of course, it's Joker. Who else would hire him? But what's kind of funny about this is how they explain the crossover of universes, because as you may or may not be aware, DC Comics and Marvel Comics exist in 2 completely different universes. Their universes do not coincide with one another. So that means that Joker had to pull Deadpool from the other universe, from the Marvel, Comics universe. And that's exactly what he does. And there's even some little throwaway mentions explaining how it happened. You can imagine, it's multiversal shenanigans and so on and so forth. But yeah, the whole thing here is that Batman and Deadpool, it kind of ends up becoming less of a Deadpool versus Batman, or rather Deadpool and Batman, and kind of becomes more of a Deadpool and Batman versus Deadpool and Joker is what this ultimately kind of becomes. And it's a really fun read. It looked really cool. With Greg Capullo there, kind of gave you those vibes going back to the DC New 52 Batman. Get that death of the family vibes, or whatever. It had a lot of that to it. And there's also, the reemergence of Joker Venom and things of that nature. Batman responding to Deadpool in the ways that I think make the most amount of sense. Like, hey, look, I don't like this guy. That's basically how Batman deals with it. And dealing with Joker in much the same way he always deals with Joker. But I think what was actually the best part of it was how Joker and Deadpool dealt with one another. Joker is not his first rodeo with a Marvel Comics character. Some of you may or may not remember back, I think this might have been in the late 90s or early aughts. I don't remember exactly, but there was a Batman versus Spider-Man crossover where Batman and Spider-Man teamed up to face the Joker and Carnage. So this isn't Joker's first rodeo dealing with a crazy Marvel Comics character, someone who might even be more crazy than himself. And that's what happens here, is that Deadpool is way wackier than Joker could ever hope to be. Not from a malicious standpoint, but more just from sheer and utter chicanery. Deadpool is pure and utter chaos personified, while Joker just likes to sow chaos. He is a chaotic being. He is an agent of chaos. Yes, he is all of that, but he's exactly that. He's an agent of chaos. He is not chaos itself. Deadpool is chaos. His fourth wall breaking shenanigans, his complete and utter disdain for social niceties and social cues. It ends up becoming probably what you might assume. And I like how Batman also plays off of both of these characters and also kind of plays them against each other. It's really good stuff. But I will say, while I am more than prepared to give the Deadpool and Batman portion of this Marvel vs. DC crossover, I am more than prepared to give this, I would give this an A. I would give this an A. Maybe even an A+. I don't know. Actually, no, just an A. Just an A. Personally, I feel, just me, I feel like it's not the best story in this book. Just gonna go ahead and put that out there. So let's talk about the other stories that we're gonna get here. First up after this one is gonna be Captain America and Wonder Woman, which I think might just be maybe the best story in the book. Now, this one's a little bit different. This isn't really dealing with time travel or even multiversal shenanigans. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but like the way they treat this is that Wonder Woman and Captain America are in the same universe. As a matter of fact, DC Comics and Marvel Comics are in the same universe, as far as a lot of these backup stories are concerned, which makes it so interesting that the Deadpool Batman point of it was so adamant that these two universes were separate, whereas in the backup stories, it's as if they are all in the same place. So case in point, Wonder Woman is in World War II at the same time that Captain America is. They both know who the other one is. They've heard stories about each other, and they end up becoming friends at a very crucial moment. A moment where Captain America is seriously considering the prospect of unaliving Adolf Hitler. I don't think I need to tell you that it's probably not going to go the way that you're hoping that it is going to go. But what's really cool about this is that we get to see how Diana and Steve have influenced each other over the years, how they have been longtime friends, that they have hung out around each other and superheroed together, dating all the way back to the times of Marvel superheroes, Secret Wars back in the 80s, as well as Crisis on Infinite Earths back in the 80s, going all the way over to events like Infinity Gauntlet and the Identity Crisis. We even see throwbacks to books like The Dark Knight Returns, and it's all just, one universe. These characters all exist and hang out together. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, Green Lantern, all of them, like, they all know each other. Now, they do later on in the story kind of start talking about the Infoverse and talking about how, it's technically a multiverse, but they all still kind of coexist in the same space, same time, whatever. That's another story altogether. I'm not really, here to litigate that. But yes, I think this story hands down, might be the best in the book, if not for one other story. And I'm gonna go in order of these, so I'll get to that one in a minute. But yeah, I would say Captain America Wonder Woman, that's an A+ story right there. The next story up, Jeff and Crypto, was also really good, and to the surprise of no one, it was Kelly Thompson who was writing this. But to be fair, this is a mostly silent issue, so a lot of the heavy lifting is also on Guru Hiru. So yeah, this was a concerted effort. This is a mostly silent issue. There's not really a lot of talking in it. There's only one character that actually really says any actual line of dialogue that can be understood. But yeah, it goes about the way you think. This is Jeff the Land Shark meeting Crypto the Superdog, and them figuring out that they like each other. They enjoy being around each other. They're kind of figuring each other out, but eventually they figure out real fast that they enjoy having fun with each other until their respective parties let them know, hey, knock it off, time to get to work. And it's cool. It's really cool how it's done. It's expertly crafted. It's probably the story that is probably the sweetest thing you will read in a long time. And it's just really cool seeing these characters be friendly with one another. Jeff the Land Shark and Crypto the Superdog are my new dynamic duo. It's gonna be kind of par for the course for a lot of the other stuff, with the exception of maybe one. A lot of this is going to be very friendly, back and forth. This isn't going to be, oh, two superheroes meet, they're going to fight each other. No, that's not what this is. The key point of that is Daredevil and Green Arrow. This is Kevin Smith and Adam Kubert, which, once again, Kevin Smith, I thought, always did a really good Daredevil. I also think that, I've actually liked his Green Arrow as well. But yeah, he takes these two characters who I think honestly are probably more perfectly matched than most Marvel DC characters when they're standing side by side. He actually takes this and he plays it for the laughs that you're going to expect from Kevin Smith. He's also going to play it for serious as well. He's going to take these two characters that he's very intimately familiar with, and he's not going to have them try to fight each other the second that they meet. It's all going to kind of culminate around Green Arrow looking for the League of Shadows, but ultimately finding the Hand. And obviously, Green Arrow being out of his element, he's not in Star City. He's in Hell's Kitchen, with Daredevil, and they meet each other. And while at first they're not sure who the other one is, like Daredevil just assumes that it's Hawkeye at first, and Green Arrow kind of slick assumes that Daredevil might be a bad guy, only he quickly figures out, like, yeah, this guy's not a bad guy. Not a single punch is thrown between the two, and they say, hey, look, these are the real bad guys. Let's throw some hands, and they do exactly that. Now, what really kind of ramps everything up is that, okay, well, we have Daredevil and Green Arrow fighting one of Daredevil's villain groups. Well, where's the DC element of this? Where's the DC representation on, a Green Arrow side of things? Well, as it turns out, it's going to be a character who would be a nightmare for just about any character, Green Arrow especially, but someone who's actually more than a match for a character like Daredevil, and that's Count Vertigo. And it's all played up really cool. There's some really sweet human moments in this where we kind of get to see how Green Arrow and Daredevil bond as they're fighting against what is arguably one of Green Arrow's greatest foes, and it's solid. Like, honestly, I feel like, well, yes, I think the Deadpool Batman thing was probably the more marketable solution. This and the Captain America Wonder Woman story, even the Jeff and Crypto story, really all of these stories, with the exception of one, I feel like maybe Marvel and DC should not have made these backup stories. Maybe they should have actually made these like full-on one-shots. Because I feel like there was a really good story there. Now, granted, it may not have been any more story that Kevin Smith had to write for this. So, there's also the possibility of that. But Daredevil and Green Arrow, I know I said that, Captain America and Wonder Woman was like the best. And Jeff and Crypto really aren't far behind it. I would give them an A+ as well, damn near. But this, Daredevil and Green Arrow, was just that much better than some of the other stuff in this book. So I'm gonna give it an A+. Next up, we have Rocket Raccoon and Green Lantern, which is technically a Guardians of the Galaxy and Green Lantern Corps crossover, because a lot of the other Guardians and Green Lantern Corps members, or Guardians or whatever, they all kind of focus in on the story to some degree or another. But basically what's happening here is that this is a culture trade that is going on here. The Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians of the Galaxy are meeting up and just exchanging things between them. So Hal Jordan gives up his Green Lantern ring and gives it to Rocket Raccoon, put it on loan for a little bit. The worst idea ever, because Rocket Raccoon is an unscrupulous person. I mean, granted, yes, he's a good guy, but he is as close to being a bad guy as a good guy can possibly be without really going into full-on anti-hero territory. It goes about the way you would expect. Rocket abuses the ring. Of course he does. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? He's on Game World. He's putting up his collateral for bets. He's out here robbing people and, you know, taking their money and stuff. It's crazy. And for the most part, Hal Jordan, he is traded to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, granted, no ring. But guess what happens? The Guardians of the Galaxy end up running into what is arguably one of Marvel's greatest foes. And, well, shenanigans. I almost don't want to spoil it, but it is kind of funny to see what happens. It was bad news for everybody. I'll just say this. If you don't want to know, skip ahead like maybe 10 or 15 seconds or whatever. But I'll just say this. They run into Thanos, and Hal gets his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet with all the gems and basically turns into Parallax. Again. This one is short and sweet and doesn't overstay its welcome. B+, easy. Okay, so now I said that not all of these stories were great, and this is kind of where we're getting to the back end of it. This is kind of one of those, you know, last but maybe definitely least scenarios, is we have Old Man Logan and Batman The Dark Knight Returns. And this one is done by Frank Miller. He is the writer and penciler and inker on this. So a lot of this hangs on his shoulders. Now, I will be the first one to admit Frank Miller is a legend. He's a legend in the business. He's one of the GOATs. He's one of the GOATs. He put Daredevil and Batman on the map in ways that no other writer has, you can ever say that they have done. But at the same time, man, I'm not gonna lie, this story was ass. This was cheeks. This was straight up cheeks. Do water. It is bad. This is a flat out goose egg of a story. It looks bad. It reads bad. It's just not good. I didn't care for it at all. And I feel the same way about this backup story that I did about that variant cover that Frank Miller did for Wolverine that just looked, like, look, can we just stop? Can we just stop? Yeah. So there was nothing there for me. There just was nothing there. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good, didn't read good. I was not a fan. For as much as it pains me to say it, even for Frank Miller, this is an F. Definitely last, but maybe somewhere in the middle of least and great, we've got Logo. Now, I have some personal feelings about this largely because I didn't really care for the Amalgam universe, like, at all. Even when I was a kid, when it was, like, coming out. Like, I get it. Like, everybody loved Amalgam. I think most people probably like Amalgam. I'm not one of them. I think that it was not good. Like, Amalgam had more bad characters than they had good ones. Not to say there weren't any good ones. There were definitely some pretty decent looking ones. But, like, for the most part, yeah, no, this was not it. I'll just go ahead and say right now, Logo, it's what you probably expect. It's Wolverine and Lobo, amalgamized together. Like, and here's the thing. I love Ryan North. I love Ryan Stegman. I love Frank Martin. I love everybody that's involved in this book. But I could not care less. Fully admit, I'm bringing some personal baggage into this. But still, don't care. You cannot for love or money make me care about Amalgam D. But anyway, that was the entirety of Marvel versus DC. I think that everything was great for the most part, like I said, with the exception of a couple of things. Really good stories, really good art most of the time, and like I said, except for that, really the only bad art in this book is in the Old Man Logan, Batman, Dark Knight's Returns side of it. That's the only time I really think that both the writing and art was just bad. Everything else, I think writing, art was good. Even Logo, I thought the writing was good. I thought the art was good, because these are goats we're talking about here. But at the same time, I just don't care about the character. You can't, gun to my head, you couldn't make me care about the character. You guys, let me know what you think about it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And also before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, that way you don't miss anything. Make sure you hit that like button too, because it helps me find more viewers like yourself, and also hit that hype button so we can push this video out in front of more people. But anyway, until next time, we'll be back again to talk more about when DC releases their Batman and Deadpool crossover, which will probably kind of handle about the same way. Anyway, we're out of here. Peace out.